Hello and welcome to Airports Company South Africa's Women in Aviation series, where we highlight women who are pioneering in the aviation space. We hope that in sharing their stories, we'll inspire others. In today's episode, we're in conversation with Zanele Sabani, who is Assistant Manager for Security Services at Chief Dawid Stuurman International Airport. Zanele, thank you so much for joining us on our series.
Thank you for having me.
So let's start right at the beginning. When did you join ACSA?
I joined ACSA on the 1st of May 2015 as the controller at security.
And what was your journey? What has your journey been like, in fact, at ACSA?
Well, I'd say it was a roller coaster. I remember shortly after I joined the company, 2016 to be precise, my position was collapsed, and I then had to occupy a space inside the permit office within the security environment as the supervisor. In between those, I was fortunate enough to have a boss who was able to give me space to grow and learn. Because when I started within the company, I was from a completely different environment. Aviation was something new to me. So I didn't know anything about the industry. So I needed to grab every opportunity that was thrown at my side. That's what I did. And yeah.
So when you say you had to grab every opportunity, I love that. Why? Because I find that sometimes women, we are more comfortable in playing the role of the smaller person in the room. We often don't want to fill spaces. What is it in you? What is it about you, Zanele, that always tells you, grab the opportunity, go for it, dig a little harder, work a little harder? What's the thing that motivates you?
The one thing about me is that I'm a very resilient person. I'm very dedicated, and I become excited sometimes with every small opportunity that comes in my way. I run with it. I put all my energy in it. I think that was one of the strong points that my boss was able to pick up. As a result, he gave me a lot of responsibility. Sometimes I didn't understand why he had to do that, because I would always think at the back of my mind, but I'm still new, what do I know?
Why are you giving me so much work?
Why? What is it about me? Why do you trust me so much with all these responsibilities? But looking back now, I'm glad he did what he did, and I can safely say that he saw something in me that I didn't know existed. Yes. So when he resigned in 2020, I had to take over as acting assistant manager within the security environment, and that I also put my all, because I'm not the one person that sits still for so many years within the same space. I become so agitated. So I put my all in that. I learned as much as I could. I saw myself sitting in round tables with men, and that was very intimidating. But I had to put on the mask. I had to put on that aura within me that when I sit with everyone else, they see this person who is able to articulate herself in such a manner that you will think that she's been around for such a long time. When I still had, I think I was 5 years or 6 years within the company by then.
But you showed up as the person that you wanted to be. You showed up as the person that you believed you were and are. It must have been challenging though. I mean, I think it's easy to say that this is what I did and this is how I got here and this is the payoff. But it can't have been easy. And I'm just wondering for other women, young women who are finding themselves in a similar position where they've entered a space they don't know. How did you, I guess one, and the question is in two parts. How did you overcome that insecurity maybe of being in a space that you don't know? And two, what would be your advice to someone who's watching and finds themselves in a similar place?
The one thing about the aviation industry is that we are governed by a lot of regulations. You need to equip yourself. You need to learn about the regulations that govern the industry. So when you sit on the table and you mention the regulations, immediately people notice. I had to learn the aviation sector within a short period of time.
Right.
As you know, that in aviation we're governed by the civil aviation regulations, the International Civil Aviation of Operations, and IATA, which governs the airlines. So I gave myself time to learn all those regulations, so that when I sit around the table with people who've been around for more than 20 years, I speak the same language as them.
Right.
And I would like to advise young women to take up their own spaces within the industry. The aviation industry is such an exciting industry with lots of opportunities. Women need to break boundaries in roles that were previously dominated by men.
I agree. I agree. Let's switch things up a little bit. You're a mother, and I think it's important that we highlight the challenges that women who have responsibilities at home deal with when they are equally committed to the work that has been placed before them, equally committed to their duties and responsibilities. How have you managed that work-life balance?
I think the one thing is the balance that you need to maintain between your work life and your personal life. Your work is demanding, but so are your kids. You need to be present in such a way that they don't miss out, and you don't miss out in any of the stages of their lives. When I get home, I put work aside and I dedicate my time for my kids. I still need to know what happened at school during the day. I still need to know if they've done the homework. I still need to cook for them, and I still need to see to it that I tuck them in bed. And then after that, I can just take a cup of coffee, finish my work that I didn't finish during the day, and prepare for the next day. The only thing that a person needs to make sure that they do is to balance the two together. And women are known as multitasking. We're good at that.
We're very good at that.
I've seen that in me. I've seen that in me.
Yeah.
So I believe that you can do both
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah, women really can rule the world.
Yes, we can.
Probably should rule the world.
Yes, we have to. It's time.
It's time. It's time to give us the chance to run. I think your story is so inspiring because it's honest. You have faced challenges and you have overcome them the best way that you knew how, which was to push in and to lean in and to push yourself, You haven't allowed work to stop you from living a big life. You're a mother, you have kids, and you love them and they love you, and your life is full. What's your advice to women who feel as though they can't have it all? They don't know if work is too demanding, so can I still go for the other things that I want, like being a mother, like being a wife, or whatever other personal pursuits they may have outside of work? What is your advice to them? Can women do it all?
Yes, we can. I believe that we need to share these stories so that it can get to other women who think that they can do one thing at a time. You can do everything. We need to be able to impact the knowledge onto each other. We need to share these experiences so that women rise above. we need to be able to develop each other, and we need to be able to sit around the table, share the experiences, so that the next woman is confident enough to take up their own spaces.
Yeah.
It's time that women take over the roles that were previously taken by men.
Talking about that, thank you very much. You just helped me segue into my next question. But talking about that, you are assistant manager for security services. This is not an easy job. Earlier you were talking about the regulations that run aviation, that are so critical to how we operate and move in this space. You mentioned sitting at tables, with other men who have been in this space. Security is, as we know, very important when it comes to aviation. What has been your experience in security? And I think also importantly, how have you led in this space in security?
Security is evolving. We have threats on a daily basis. You've got your cybersecurity threats. You need to learn. You learn every day. My table in my office is full of all these aviation books, because I like to acquire knowledge and stay above the security environment. And the one thing, you need to be assertive. You need to know your story. In order for you to know your story, you need to learn.
Yeah.
You need to read and acquire as much knowledge as you can, so that when you're sitting around the table, people can see the passion that you have about this industry.
Yeah. So important. Well, Zanele, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I leave inspired, and my hope is that everybody that's been watching also gets to leave inspired. And thank you so much for watching this latest episode of Women in Aviation series.